Lewis Hamilton wrote a mysterious message that hinted at an amazing reunion that fans love. And now that he's starting fresh at Ferrari, it looks like he's ready to bring back some old friends he had when he was at Mercedes. Breaking up professionally with Angela Cullen, who was always next to him during race weekends, really hurt Hamilton's fans, but it seems like they might work together again at Ferrari because of the latest clues Hamilton has been dropping in his recent posts. With this happening, is he making sure not to miss anything and check all the boxes to win? And if so, should other teams be worried? Angela Cullen has been one of Hamilton's closest friends and work partners who isn't a Formula One driver. This physical therapist worked with Hamilton from 2015 to 2023 and definitely made a big difference in the seven-time world champion's health and happiness. Of course, she saw all the stress he had to deal with when driving cars like the W13, but it's still been sad to see these two end their work relationship. Angela spent her life traveling around the world to places like Egypt, Italy, and California, but now both of them went skiing together, and Cullen wore a Ferrari outfit, which hints that maybe they could get back together now that nothing is stopping Hamilton from bringing back old teammates from Mercedes who aren't with that team anymore. Of course, we all thought Bono would be the first popular person close to Hamilton to follow him to Ferrari, but the deal with his race engineer just isn't the same as what Cullen had, which makes sense when you think about how important Cullen was to his career. Hamilton has always thought very highly of her and said that in this sport, the most important thing is to have positive people around you. He added, "People won't understand it naturally because they see it from far away, but she has been one of the greatest things that has happened to me in my life. I've been lucky to work with many people, and she is the single hardest working woman that I get to be around. She is focused and thinks of others, and she makes my weekends peaceful. Every day I wake up, whatever time it is, she is just positive. Never once has she been negative, so that is very, very important." Of course, this is from the time when they worked together at Mercedes. On the other hand, ever since Cullen left, we've seen some sad statements from Hamilton that aren't necessarily connected to Angela, but could still be a state of mind that he could have handled much better if maybe the physical therapist was still around next to him. Unfortunately, she wasn't. And this is why Hamilton thinks it's very important to have positive people around you. Talking more about this, the seven-time world champion said, "I think it's important in life to put positive people around you. You can't be going around with dead weights. You can't be going around with people who don't inspire you to be better and lift you up when you are down. You need to be around people who can do that for you, and she is one of them." All of this is showing us signs that the seven-time world champion is definitely ready for a reunion, because saying that his first year or two at Ferrari is going to be extremely hard is definitely an understatement. He has to get used to a new car and a completely new team, starting from the engineers back in Maranello and ending with the man who will be constantly talking in his ears, Riccardo Adami. Of course, he is up for the challenge, and it's not the first time that a world champion is changing a race engineer. But given the fact that this is Ferrari, we're talking about the team that is very questionable when it comes to team tactics and strategies, then you can't help but wonder how Hamilton will fit in this entire situation. The most important thing that he will need is support from somebody who is very close to him, and even though their paths have separated, it's not like they ended on a bad note. It's a very easy task for Hamilton to bring Cullen back into his life if he wants to. The big question is whether Angela would be open to the challenge, because after Hamilton's words about her always being there for him when he needed her the most from early morning to late night, that I guess this duo just can't wait any longer to get back to their work relationship. When talking about having Cullen in his life while at Mercedes, Hamilton said, "Angela is with me until 10 or 11 p.m. every day and with me from 6 or 7 a.m. every morning. We love doing what we do. We love doing it together, and I'm incredibly grateful to have her on the road. I don't think I could do it without her." Of course, this is something that needs to be talked about privately, but it's obviously something that we'd love to see. Two people who gave huge parts of their work lives to Mercedes now being reunited at the biggest rival of the Brackley Bay team and making sure that they're going to use every single second of their teamwork. Be that as it may, Hamilton might have some bigger worries on his mind because he still hasn't tried out the Ferrari car yet. And while all of the 1,000 kilometers have been spread across 4 days at Barcelona, the track that Ferrari rented just for this usually testing, 1,000 kilometers is done over a period of 1 month. But Ferrari and Hamilton don't want to leave anything to chance, and they want to get things done as early as possible, whether he'll be driving the SF23 or the F1-75, or to be more exact, the 2023 or the 2022 car. It will be decided by the team. What we know from this is that the 7-time world champion can't wait for March to come sooner, because if you look at the statements from his team boss, Fred Vasseur, and the idea of the car being changed 99%, then you would normally think that Hamilton would want to have the advantage as early as possible when talking about the 2025 season and what we should expect in terms of the car's philosophy and design. Vasseur went on to say, "If it will be competitive, we'll find out in Bahrain." Sometimes you don't realize you're taking risks until afterwards. The car will be completely new. I think we'll have less than 1% of the parts in common with the 2024 cars. It's a different project, but the same applies to everyone. We can't say now if 2025 will be our year, but I trust the project we are working on. It will still be an intense challenge like the one we just completed. I'm very proud of how we handled difficulties this year, but we must take another step towards consistency. And from Hamilton's side, this is not the only preparation he's done to make sure that the move to Ferrari would go smoothly. He's been visiting Maranello a couple of times, 5 to be more exact, in a quiet manner, while still being under contract with Mercedes, to make sure to get to know the facilities as much as he can. The 7-time world champion has also talked to Vettel, his old enemy and rival, about the services of Riccardo Adami, which shows that he wants to make sure to have the best of the best available, which Cullen also falls under. Hamilton has a bad reputation for not being a driver who can help give the best feedback for a car's development. And while we do have tons of arguments that can prove this theory wrong, that's a story for another video. Some of Hamilton's wishes have been granted, such as the position of the cockpit being slightly moved back so he'll have a bit more feel with the rear end of the car and a bit less with the front, which he explained was too sharp at Mercedes and felt like he was sitting on the front tires. What this shows again is that Hamilton is leaving nothing to chance and that he's not coming here to Ferrari to retire. He's coming to win a championship and do it with style. With all this in mind, do you think that Angela Cullen would be a great part of Hamilton's success story at Ferrari if they joined forces? And more importantly, do you think that she'd be open to a reunion outside their old team Mercedes with a fresh start in front of them? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to know more about the huge shakeup at Alpine that saw the French team signing Colapinto as their reserve driver, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.